add that much more value to your product, but also provide a better overall user experience. They're the ones who know what they're doing. They're the specialists in that area. So even talking to them from like a marketing lens too, in terms of, what kind of music content is going to be a little bit more marketable to that 2D platform you're making versus something else like a 4X grand strategy game. Like, those are the types of things that we're looking to dive into without going too deep in interviewing these contractors, because again, these are the people that are specialists in these areas, and providing that marketing lens to overall feeding into how does what you contribute aid in the marketability and the user experience of the game. So those are the types of things that we're thinking about as we have these like more maybe general topics, but still really insightful to get that type of like almost in-depth to a degree level of how important these things are. So we've got a lot planned for season 2, or at least it feels that way. Feels that way for me, that's for sure. I mean, and again, we're just really excited for this. And it honestly we wouldn't be here today having this conversation, entering season 2, if it wasn't for everyone listening now. Because like, while this is a celebration for what things that the podcast has achieved, we also really want to point out that this goes beyond what we're doing, what we're talking about right now. It's more of an acknowledgement to what our guests and our listeners have done. Because really, this is all a small testament to to what we've been sharing with you on the podcast, and and this hopefully goes to show that what can be accomplished, like what we have been able to accomplish with the right mindset and continuously taking action, is something that you guys are doing too. Yes, we're a podcast. Yes, it's very different than making a game. But the point is, I mean, we've been doing this since 2018, started rough, weren't very consistent, but we worked into something that is now to the point where we can discuss this openly with you, and what our plans are and what we have done and what these learnings are. So that's what we want. If there's one takeaway that you guys can take from this episode, it's that whatever you're doing, however hard it feels right now with what you're doing, just keep doing. Just keep going. So again, this is for you guys. And I don't know, Mustafa, anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yes, absolutely. So if you can forgive me getting a little soapboxy at the moment, we speak pretty often on the show and just in general about community, and that goes, I think, beyond the community of any specific game or beyond just our listeners. Like, games as a whole is something that we share, and I think especially at the indie scale, it's something that we share in a much more interpersonal way. It's very close to the chest, I'll say. So to be able to share in this with a group of people who are all kind of striving toward the same goal, especially, from my perspective, where I'm with a team and my guys were trying to do the same thing. It's all kind of this collective journey to share art that we're passionate about. And so if we play even a small part in that and making that more accessible for the world at large, then I would say I'm proud and I'm happy with what we've done and what we're continuing to do. And I'm grateful that all of you are giving it a chance and trying to see what you can learn and gain and share and teach,
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said that any better myself. So again, I mean, really, all this is possible for listeners like you, and can't thank you enough. So with that said, I think we'll just close here with a thank you, but also, like, if we're this transparent with everything right now, that also means that we're really open for you to reach out to us. Honestly, probably the best way to do that is, through our Twitter account, IGM Podcast. and let us know, like, just either what you think about these changes, feedback, anything like that, or show us in other ways. You can follow us there, wherever you're listening to the podcast, subscribe, and the biggest thing, as I mentioned before, just share it with others. Again, if you think this is providing value to you and is really helpful, it means the world to us if you just simply share it with other people. And if you don't, that's okay too. All we care about is that you're here with us. Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Indie Game Movement. I'm Andrew Pappas, your host, and the show's producer is Mustafa Price. If you enjoy and value the show's content, you can support us even more by going to Patreon and visiting www.patreon.com/IGM podcast and select the tier that best suits your needs. Show notes for this episode can be found by visiting rengenmarketing.com, the number episode of the show. Rengen Marketing is a consulting marketing company that helps indie devs with their marketing efforts. Whether you need guidance with your game's marketing strategy or could use a free marketing plan template, then please visit www.rengenmarketing.com and take action. A special thanks to Dakota Saw for Season 2's opening theme and Melissa Gellis for the new logo design. And as always, thanks for being such great listeners, and we'll see you next time on Indie Game Movement.